Here we go now. I'm a trembling like a shaker. I'm a non-violent as a Quaker. I'm naked as a prophet, so bring it on if you want to scoff it. If you must, I will rock you till I win your trust. Wisdom fat from being high on the Holy Spirit. Did you hear it? I'm high on the Holy Spirit. Do you love it or do you fear it? I'm going to spank Rick Warren. I'm going to spank him good. Bend over, Ricky. I'm going to do what I have to. I'm going to do what I should. Ricky is not a hood. He's not a willfully a bad man, but he sure as hell isn't the guide to the promised land. Here we go now. From the floor to the ceiling, I'll be revealing the curse of the law of the idols too that beseech me and beseech you. You see, my friend, worldly success is never the test or the end. Worldly success is never the definition of an anointed mission. You think that's my opinion? How many followers did Jesus have during his earthly mission? Conservative scholars say less than 200 followed. Less than 200 existed the day he kissed Judas, the day he renounced what they insisted. How about Rick Warren? 30 million followers. I find that utterly abhorrent. But I'm just a dumb fuck down on my luck, just a piece of shit fucked up kid, so I'll use a simple analogy so that we can see how much of an idol his book can be. He's reduced it down to baking a cake. He has a 5-point recipe for you and me to make. The best damn cake this side of the lake. The cake that makes you great in the eyes of Forbes magazine. Says things make me scream. It says, word of business, Saddleback Church would be compared with Dell, Google, or Starbucks. Holy motherfucking shit. Flip my lid, dip my stick, face full of fist, kiss that Mrs. Wen was righteous power defined by Forbes fucking magazine. Time to scream and rage. Run naked like Saul, laughing at it all. And the prophecy he saw. How is Wall Street creeped into the definition? How has Wall Street creeped into the proof of the answers we seek? Time magazine says, movie stars and political leaders aren't the only ones turning to Rick Warren for spiritual guidance. Millions of people from the NFL and LPGA, from corporate executives to high school students to prison inmates, meet regularly to discuss the purpose-driven life. Is it getting scary yet? Damn sure you bet! The London Times says business and political leaders across America are turning to Rick Warren for guidance. Rick, oh my, how sick, how motherfucking sick. I think I'm gonna vomit. When did this world's king tabloids ever canonize the words that idols employ? Anybody remember Ted Haggett? He grew a church enormously large. He was so clearly in charge. 30 million tripped out when he preferred to stick his dick where they couldn't shout. The whole damn evangelical nation was pouting and shouting, trying to shoot the wounded and hound the scoundrel. And I remember another tricky dick who bombed Cambodia because it thought it was fitting. Listen, here's the main point. Anytime a man is enormously popular for being evangelically correct in this earthly kingdom he erects, I stand stone cold still. Any man who profits from the beast, the Christian retailing machine that feasts on idols that sell, what does it tell about the whole damn machine? Tricky Rick is a swami now. I saw him on Larry King telling everyone else how. With his 5 bulletin points, he anoints the way to behave to guarantee God's favor and grace. Tricky Rick, do you know that conservative scholars estimate that less than 200 followers were waiting at the gate when they rolled the dice to get his cloak from the fool's paradise? 200 disciples, 200 followers. He said, you must eat of my flesh. And they said, who can understand such distress? So if you think the New York Times validates your formula to find God's prosperity, you best take another hard look. 50 million evangelicals were fooled. They were used as tools in an election of a president without fruits? Was I deceived? Was I duped? 6 years later, as I take a look, the proof, the prophecy he received to invade a sovereign nation, there was blood on the backs of every single person without the discerning, without the learning. What was the Old Testament command for prophets who were wrong in their stand? Who are the modern day prophets who got something to say? How do we know anyway whether to gather rocks or listen to what they say or follow them? When the multitude flocks, here's the first clue. Christian, Gentile, or Jew, God is never reduced to a prosperity heresy. It don't matter if Saddleback has 17,000 like the New Life Ministry. It don't matter if you sell 30 million books and you write the recipe to cook the perfect Christian chocolate cake. God never was a deal maker. There's no formula to follow, no 5 principles to swallow to guarantee spiritual prosperity. Now why is this such a crisis that we must fight like lice? The insidious implication is that if you suffer accident or disease, sin of your loved ones bring you to your knees, unexpected death steals your breath, leaves you bereft, you get fired from your job even though you was working hard, your wife gives you a sexually transmitted disease, your husband likes the little boys on their knees. I followed all 5 principles that Tricky Dick Rick said make me thrive: worship, fellowship, disciple, ministry, and evangelical mission, but I'm still missing his position of prosperity. Listen, are you listening? I'm still missing his prediction of prosperity. I've done the things that he had to say, sing and shouts about. I've done everything that the book says. I've done everything, but I'm still filled with doubt. Maybe if you write a sequel, I can figure it out. I've done everything to live by the rules, impossibly tough, but it never was enough. So what the fuck, I'm leaving. It's not worth the extra grief and deceiving. So Swami Dick Rick says he's a deal maker. Here's the facts that we can't back down from. At least you think my leaky asshole prevents me from the realities I'm about to toll. Rick Hendricks interviews George Barnes, Christian Research Center, the Christian Research Institute. They may not agree about everything, but one truth they see: about 25% of the evangelicals sitting in the pew will leave before any given year is through, to never return with the same fervor. And they don't just leave the church, they leave everything that they had once worked: prayer, Bible study, fellowship, and worship. Why? Part of it is the head pastor is high on crystal meth in his denial to confess that he's gay. No fucking way. 30 million disappointed the American Association of Evangelicals. But it shouldn't affect them at all that Ted got small, but I would take a guess it did, and some will never return with the same fervor. But Swami Rick is not a prick. He doesn't like to suck dick, and so what if he did, while condemning those who do the same as him? But Swami Rick does even more damage than if he just did meth and licked dicks. It's the insidiousness of idolatry. The American Heritage Dictionary says it's blind and excessive devotion to something, an image that is used as an object of worship, a false god. Swami Rick's 5-point recipe to bake a cake to set you free is fatally flawed when it becomes idolatry. God always works in mysterious ways, and we do not have the mind of God. And when we think we do, we're screwed, and the biggest screwing is the recipe's undoing. You see, you bake the cake and it doesn't come out too great. You follow the recipe to set you free, but you still get a disease. You follow the formula and you have a nervous breakdown, double burden in the rubble. Is it really a surprise why they leave when there is no compromise to proceed? There is no formula that God is obligated to follow. It's the barbarian way, and we must swallow hard at the propositions he leads us into. But there's no other way to do it, no other way to get through it. I will take up my cross, deep and dangerous rivers to cross. I will bend to my knees. In this muffled triumph I will proceed. There is no book to take a look other than the New Testament. It teaches us to make eternal dents. and I will forever follow and be content with the New Testament.
Sound is sweet. She was Hosanna.